This is the first video for Chapter 1, Marketing's Value to Consumers, Firms, and Society. Many people are surprised when they realize how different and how many really different ideas and activities are really associated and included with marketing. Most people think it's just primarily selling and advertising, but there's so much more to it than that. Now, the book itself uses an example of a manufacturer of bicycles, and we're just going to use that as an example as we walk through the next slide or two of information. Now, when you think about a company that manufactures and makes bicycles, you have to understand that there are tons of different brands of bicycles. There are many different styles and types of bicycles, a lot of different features with all these different bicycles as well, and the price ranges go from really, really low to just exorbitant. Very, very high prices for specialty type bicycles. So a question to think about and to ponder is, why are there so many different varieties of bicycles available to people? Okay, what's the purpose of having all of those different types of bicycles? Now, thinking in regards to the firm itself, the company that is producing, manufacturing, or making the bicycles, what do they need to consider? Well, by focusing on the many tasks involved in producing or making a bicycle, it's possible to get a feel for a much wider range of marketing activities as well. So among the different things a manager or a production manager must do when going through the production of a bicycle, the manager must need to meet the requirements that you see on the screen now. First of all, analyzing not only the needs but also the wants, the needs and the wants of people for various models of bicycles. What do the different people want? What models of bicycles can meet those needs? What features need to be on these bicycles to be able to meet those needs and wants? They try to predict the types of bicycles that consumers will want and decide which consumers will be satisfied, whose needs and wants will be satisfied with these as well. Because you can't meet the needs and wants of absolutely everybody. You have to pick and choose which ones are going to be most beneficial for you as a company. Third step is to estimate the number of bicycle riders and how many bicycles they might buy. Because a lot of times you won't just buy one. Over your lifetime, you're going to be buying multiple bicycles and different bicycles for different purposes, depending upon what it is that you want to do. You have to also determine where the consumers are located and how are you going to get the bicycles to them, or are they able to come to you to get the bicycles. Alright, so that's going to talk about more of the place and the distribution aspect of the marketing mix. You have to estimate the price that the consumers are willing to pay for a bicycle, and also you need to determine what type of a profit will that result in for your company, which is very, very important. You need to make sure you're making enough money on each bicycle to keep your company profitable. You have to decide what kinds of promotions should be used to not only inform consumers about the bicycles, but also give them some reason or incentive to purchase them as well. Estimate the impact of the competition that you're going to have. There will be competition. There's plenty of competition out there already. What impact is the competition going to have? And also, lastly, determine how to provide customer service if a customer has a problem. Actually, if or when a customer has a problem, because it's bound to happen. So once the purchase is done, you don't want to just stop right there. You want to make sure that the consumers are still happy and getting the service that they need. All right, next. Production versus marketing. Production is just simply making goods or performing services. Okay, making the goods or performing the services. Now, since most products don't just sell themselves, that's where marketing comes in. Marketing makes sure that the right goods and services are produced, and also creates customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is just simply the extent to which an organization fulfills the customer's needs, wants, desires, expectations, and everything. Okay, you got to make sure that they are happy with the product, they're satisfied with the product, they're satisfied with the help after the purchase as well. Alright, so just some questions to think about in regards to this topic. If you were buying a bicycle, what needs or wants would you have? How would your desires or wants be different from your needs? And what expectations would you have about the bicycle that you are purchasing? What are some realistic expectations that a consumer would have about the product that they are purchasing? Nextly, marketing is something that eventually really touches everybody's lives in one way or another, and some people it can have a dramatic effect on their daily lives. Marketing is very important to every consumer. People, whether you like it or not, everybody bears the cost of marketing based upon the price that you pay for products. No matter what it is that you buy, you are paying a price for marketing. Everyone buys or uses a product or a service of some sort. People shop around, they are exposed to advertising, provide information to businesses based upon surveys or questionnaires. All right, second part there, marketing is important to your job. You as a person need to sell your ideas. You need to be able to sell your own personal qualities as well. Marketing offers career opportunities. You can get jobs in many different areas of marketing, and organizations exist to satisfy the customers, which is what marketing is really all about, satisfying the needs and wants of customers. The third one there, marketing is important to your, it's also important to your next job. Sorry about that. Marketing is also important to your next job. As I was mentioning before, you have to be able to market yourself. You have to be able to know your strengths and your weaknesses and how you can best sell your abilities to a potential hire, be able to get hired somewhere. Marketing affects innovation and the standard of living. Marketing constantly is stimulating research and innovation. You can't keep your products right where they are forever. You need to keep improving upon them, changing them, and altering them based upon what the consumers need and what the consumers want. So this creates new products, it improves current products as well, and all of that combined generates a higher standard of living. And when we look at the micro view versus the macro view of marketing, as we mentioned before, marketing is more than just selling, more than just advertising, but you want to be careful not to define marketing just in too broad of a terminology or category. There are really two alternative type views in marketing when you define it, and that's the micro and the macro view. The micro view of marketing includes activities that will anticipate the needs and the wants of customers, that will direct the flow of goods and services to the customers, getting the products to them, getting the information about the products to them. And the micro view also includes activities that are performed by individual organizations, one company at a time. Okay, separate from all the other ones. What does one company do that other companies do not do? Now you compare that to the macro view. Okay, macro view of marketing includes a social process. Okay, this is more of a large scale. It accomplishes the objectives of a society in general, not just an individual business, but society as a whole. It effectively matches supply and demand with consumers and producers. It's concerned with how marketing activities affect society and vice versa, how society affects marketing activities. All right, so you do need to understand both the macro and the micro views of marketing. Now, marketing stimulates new ways to identify customers' needs and customers' wants. Creative marketing managers are always looking for innovative ideas for products that meet the customer's needs and wants, for services that can be offered to help customers' lives be easier or more convenient for them as well. The big thing here is that marketers have to constantly look for new ideas to stay ahead of the competition. Everybody is coming up with new and creative and innovative ways to meet customers' needs and customers' wants. So what can you do as a marketer to be able to stay ahead of the competition? Marketing is done by tons of different organizations. Everybody does marketing. Now, there are some specific aspects of marketing that really need to be considered as well. Marketing, it does apply to both profit and nonprofit organizations. They both need to market themselves. I'm sure you've seen commercials for companies like the Red Cross, which is a nonprofit organization. Marketing is more than just trying to persuade somebody to do something or to buy something. It's informing. There is some persuasion to it as well. It's giving incentive to do something. Marketing begins with the customer's needs and the customer's wants. If you're making a product or providing a service, a good or a service that does not meet a need or a want by a consumer, the service and the product itself is just pointless. So you got to make sure it begins with the customer need and the customer want, not just with the production process. Marketing does not do it alone. It takes an entire company effort to be able to do this. It can't just be solely a marketing thing. Everybody has to be on board to be able to make this work. It involves exchanges, which simply just means one person is giving something for something. The majority of the time it is giving money for the product, the good or the service. And lastly, it builds a relationship with the customer. The goal here is to try to initiate repeat purchases, that you have that customer for a longer period of time. All right. Macro marketing's emphasis is on how the entire marketing system works. Every economy needs a macro marketing system. It helps match supply and demand, as mentioned before. Different producers in a society have different objectives, different resources, different skills. So you need to be able to look at it from a big picture there. Every consumer has a different set of needs. What I need and what I want in products is different than what you would need or you would want in products as well. So you have to look at that from a large scale system. And lastly, the system must effectively match the consumers and the producers. Got to be able to match the consumers with the producers, their needs and consumers' needs and wants, with the producers who can meet those needs and wants. The functions of an effective macro marketing system is simply delivering the goods and services that they need and want to the customers, getting products to them at the right time. And people don't want to wait very long. People don't like that. And keeping the consumer satisfied after the sale. That's the customer service aspect that is very important. All right, this slide, be sure you know this slide. Be sure you know this information. There are 2 discrepancies and 5 separations you need to be aware of. All right, so please understand that this is very, very important. There's a difference between the consumption sector, that's you and I as consumers, and production sector, that's the manufacturers. Discrepancies of quantity is simply producers prefer to produce things and sell things in very large quantities. You and I want to buy things in smaller quantities. That's the discrepancy, the difference there. Discrepancy of assortment, producers really specialize in producing a narrow assortment of goods, which means that there's not a whole lot of options available, but you and I, we need a broad assortment. We want to choose what we like from a listing of a lot of different things. All right, so that's the discrepancy of assortment. On the right-hand side, spatial separation. Producers tend to locate themselves where it is economical for them to produce. They want to save as much money as possible, so they want to be located where it's cheaper for them to be able to produce their products, while we as consumers, we're located all over the place, and we want to be convenienced. We want to have everything near us, and we don't want to travel very far to be able to get what we want. Separation in time. Consumers may not want to consume the goods and services at the time that producers are preferring to offer them, to produce them. So there's a difference between when we want something and when they're willing to provide it. Separation of information. Producers don't necessarily know who needs what, or where, or when, at what price, and all that. They don't have all the information on everybody. We as consumers don't always know what's available from different companies and where to get it and when we can buy it and how much it's going to cost as well. So there's a discrepancy there as well. I'm sorry, not a discrepancy, a separation. Separation in values. Producers value goods and services in terms of costs and prices, okay, sale prices. We as consumers value the goods and services in terms of satisfying our needs and our ability to pay. All right, lastly, separation of ownership. Producers hold the goods and services, they hold the rights to them until it is time for us to buy it. We want the goods and services that we don't necessarily own. So there's an ownership separation there as well. And this brings us to the end of video number 1.